doing today? Chef Mario here, looking to show you a recipe and the way that we did our meatballs at the restaurant and the way that I do them now at home and all the time when I cook for the family. Now, you may have a recipe of your own that you like, because there are millions of, or a lot of recipes, different recipes, family recipes for meatballs. But I'm just going to show you, how we do it here. And you may pick up something that might help you to be a little quicker or make it a little easier for you. And that way it can help you along in your own recipe. But this is the way we do it. And just to let you know that it was during our bruschetta episode, the episode that I showed you the technique for making bruschetta. I have the recipe there for the meatball, but I just wanted to show you the steps and the ways of putting it together. And I think this will help you. Okay, so I have ground meat, which is ground beef and ground pork, okay? And then I have all my ingredients that are gonna go in. There's salt, pepper, garlic, parsley, fresh parsley, oregano, some pepper flakes, some cheese, some breadcrumbs, and eggs. Also, what I wanted to explain was that this is the most popular Italian dish, or when you speak of Italian food, you think of either spaghetti and meatballs or pizza, okay? In Italy, they don't really do this. It's more or less originated by the Italians that came over to New York in the early 1900s, okay? Now, what I'm gonna put in first is gonna be what we use in Louisiana for our cooking, which is the mixture of onions, celery, and bell pepper. In Italian, it would be called a soffritto, and that would be onions, celery, and carrots. Now, this is all hand chopped. I like to hand chop it because it doesn't break up the textures of the vegetables, and the vegetables don't throw as much juice, and which is what you don't want. You don't want a lot of juice in your meatball, because that'll help to break it apart, okay? So after my onion, celery, and bell pepper, I'm gonna put what works out to be maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt. And also another little thing that I'm gonna show you about what I like to do also. I love salt, and sometimes to the point when it's a little much for people. So after I mix this, I'm gonna take a little bit of this mixture here, make a flat patty, and fry it off real quick. That way I can tell if I need a little more salt to the mixture, or I can add more breadcrumbs and cheese to dilute the amount of salt that I put in there already. However, I have 6 pounds of ground meat here, and I don't think that 3 tablespoons of salt is gonna be too much. Also gonna come in with about a tablespoon of black pepper. The garlic, I'm gonna put a little more. 2, 3. This is about 4 tablespoons, right about that. Nice pinch of parsley, roughly 1 tablespoon. Some dried oregano. That's about 1 tablespoon as well. Put in a little bit of red pepper flake, maybe 1/4 teaspoon. This looks to me to be about 2 cups of breadcrumbs. Not seasoned, plain breadcrumbs. what appears to me to be roughly 2 cups of grated Parmesan cheese. Now I have eggs here that I beat up a little bit to help with the mixing. I whip them up a little bit in the beginning, okay? And what I do is about 2 eggs to the pound of ground meat, okay? So just gonna pour that in. What I have here is right at a dozen. Now it's just a matter of mixing it real quick, or as long as it takes you. As I said, I had the recipe written down, or I do have it if it's in one of our the episodes that we did earlier on the bruschetta, and that will give you the amounts that you need. And if you happen to see that or have any other ingredients that you use as well, you know, try mine, you know, you might like it. We're going to incorporate now. I saw on YouTube an Italian grandma doing this recipe, and she didn't put in near the amount of ingredients that I put into mine. However, this lady's been doing it a long time, and she has a heck of a following with people interested in how they do things. I was asking myself though, this Italian grandma, she learned this meatball recipe when she came to the United States, because they don't make meatballs in Italy. Okay, everything is nice and incorporated, you know. So let me just clean my hands for a second, and then I'm gonna take it to the next step about what we do on how to proceed with rolling your meatballs. All right. Personally, I like to try, well, for the restaurant, I needed uniformity. So I always used a little ice cream scoop to do the meatballs. And I would put a little bit of oil on this pan here. Or you could use a pan spray. Either way is okay. Now, next step simply is to take some in your hand and do this. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this right now, but I'm going to show you the end product when we're done. But I just wanted you to get a brief idea of how easy this can proceed along if you would just take this little step here by using an ice cream scoop and putting the amount in there and just going down the line. All right. Now, next step I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that what we need to do, I can't leave them like this. So you have a little wet hand, and then the moisture from your hand helps you to close any cracks that you might have in the meatball. Because if you have any cracks in it, it's going to open up when you brown them off. When you put them in the oven to brown them, or when you fry them in a pan to brown them, or roast them, or whatever you want to do. But you do need to get the cracks out. All right. So, a little bit of water. Okay. Just like that. No cracks. And that's going to hold together. Now, through the magic of editing, the next time you see me, this whole pan is going to be done and full of cooked meatballs, okay? Now, the way I do it is they go in an oven on roast, and you brown them off, flip them over, and brown the other side, okay? See you in a little bit. Okay, we just pulled these out the oven. They're all nice and brown. I had done them on a broiler setting and browned each side for a few minutes. All nice and firm. So we're ready to go into the tomato gravy. I got a big pot of gravy here that we've been cooking for several hours today. These meatballs are going to go into there and cook for about an hour, and then they're done. That's it. That's a wrap.
Ciao.
Ciao. Y'all have a good one.
Una mattina mi sono svegliato, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono svegliato e ho trovato l'invasor. Oh partigiano.